Hi, in today's video I'll be demonstrating a creative charcoal portrait. We're going to start by getting rid of all this white paper. I'm going to put down some loose dark charcoal with a brush and maybe a little cloth, rubbing it in. I am paying attention to the light source, which is coming from above on the right side, and the left side of the paper is going to be in shadow, so that's why I'm putting all the dark down here on the left, and then loosely smearing some charcoal over on that light side. I don't have any white areas. Not even the highlights in the face are going to be the white of the paper, so I'm definitely going to get some layers of charcoal throughout the whole paper, and then I can always use my kneaded eraser to pull back to lighter values if I need to. I'm working in a limited value range. I'm probably going with a value 2, 3 to about a 8, so I'm not using the whitest white on the value scale, and I'm not using the blackest black. I'm kind of working in the middle range, and we're going to go from there. I'm putting down some temporary marks just to kind of see where the eyes, the nose, the mouth are going to be falling within the paper. It's probably not something I'm going to keep, but it'll give me an idea of where the features are going to be while I'm setting up my background. Welcome to my channel, Shelly J. Cox and SJC Sport Couture. This is where art meets fashion. I'm using my proportion tool to check the size of my head, make sure I have that correct. I'm using it in a 1-to-1 ratio. I've got my computer monitor to the side with my reference photo, and I'm just going to make some dots and marks till I know where the main features are going to lie, and I don't tend to draw too far away from them. It'll keep me in check. After I determine the actual size of the head, I'm using the chin line to make the next marks going up from there. We've got the middle of the mouth, then we have the bottom of the nose, the bottom of the eye, then the top of the eye, and now I'm marking out the space between the eyes and how far out each eye goes. And then I marked from the bottom of the eye to the top of the forehead, just checking to make sure that measurement was correct from before when I did the entire head, and it was. It's always good to double check your measurements, and if I were working from a live model, I'd be using comparison measurements, and that's just where you're comparing how far a distance is. Say the mouth to the chin is the same distance from the mouth to the nose, that kind of thing. So you're comparing measurement landmarks to other measurement landmarks. But with this method, I have the model's face on the computer monitor, so I'm just using a 1-to-1 measurement with the proportion tool. So I haven't done a charcoal portrait in a while, so this is a nice break from the oil paints that I normally use, and not having to think about the color. It's a good time to play with just mark making and having some fun. So I'm really going to play with just messing up this canvas, laying in some features, and I'll probably brush through some of them and put them back in. And it's going to be like an ebb and flow where I'm laying down marks and then kind of messing them up a little bit and going back in and detailing out the areas of the features that I wanted to keep, and just kind of working around that. So it's really all about mark making. Once you have the features laid down, that's when the fun begins. I'm making sure I put in a variety of lost and found edges, even in my transitions throughout my smallest areas of the features need to have a variety of lost and found edges. So I'm working on the left side, which is the shadow side, mainly just because I'm right-handed and I just want to work from one side and then move across the paper towards the right, and this way I won't be smudging or putting my hand through my drawing in the areas that I've already perfected and don't want to smudge up. You can see there how easily that the kneaded eraser or my little sponge tool will wipe back the charcoal to the lightest parts of the paper. Charcoal drawing is a lot like oil painting. I feel like I'm not stuck with any one particular mark. If I lay down something and I don't like it, I can always wipe it away and redo that area. I'm using a variety of charcoal, and I've got some H, HB, and B, all by Nitram. And when I'm shaving the charcoal sticks down to get a nice point, I'm using a paper plate to catch that shavings from the charcoal, and that's what I'm brushing on when you see me in the beginning to get the dark areas of the background. And I'm just using a fine sandpaper, like a grit 400, to shave down the ends of my charcoal sticks. It's a good idea as you draw to go back and check your measurements again to make sure that everything's staying in place, nothing's shifted too far out of alignment from where the original measurements were first put down. You can see here when I'm laying in the lips, this paper has a lot of texture to it. It's a mixed media paper. I think I may like to get a smoother paper. I didn't quite like the look that was happening when I was putting down the initial marks with the charcoal. Definitely felt like I needed to smudge it up a bit. I don't like to blend the charcoal too much. I don't really care for that look either. So I was trying to find a happy medium between smudging and blending with the brush and then coming back in and laying in some of the sharper edges with the darker charcoal stick. And this medium lends itself to experimentation really well, so you can use a variety of different objects to help with your blending and smudging. I've even got a feather put aside for later, and the different brushes that you have that you normally paint with, you can play around with those too. So hey, if you're getting some value and liking these videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. And if you like these type of videos, give me that thumbs up and I'll know to make some more. And thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed to the channel so far. I really appreciate you helping me grow the channel, and I look forward to putting out some more awesome videos. So I'm mostly using the HB charcoal stick throughout the majority of the drawing, and then I'll going back into the super dark areas with the 6B extra soft Nitram charcoal to really punch up that dark in the areas that are the darkest. So something went off with the measurement I first put down for the eye and the light on the right side. And if you see here, I've remarked and moved it more to the left, and now I'm going to go ahead and draw that right eye in that's in the light. So in the more detailed areas, I hold the charcoal stick a little more like a pencil, so I have a bit more control. But I do prefer, when I'm out of those detailed areas, to loosen up my grip on the charcoal and hold it more like a paintbrush. And rarely only do I lay down a really heavy dark mark that I don't smudge or brush through in some way. I don't want anything in the drawing to be too hard, but I do want the highest contrast area to be this right eye, so it will have the majority of hard dark lines, but I am definitely keeping an eye that I don't overdo that. And when you're drawing in eyelashes, be sure to put them down in a sort of a clump kind of manner. You don't want to draw individual eyelashes. That's never going to look good. Unless you want your drawing to look like a cartoon, then by all means. So I think I'm getting to what I envisioned originally, was that the face that I was drawing in the charcoal was kind of emerging and coming forward out of this dark pile of charcoal. Just putting in a few final touches, just really hitting that couple of small areas that need to be super dark, and just making sure that the transitions are soft and rolling away from the light and into the shadow, and just kind of working my way around, checking every area, seeing how the transitions are going. And yeah. So at this point, it's good to step back and stare at your paper for a little bit and see what areas are coming forward, what areas feel like they still need some work, and if your lights are too light or if your darks are too dark. You want to ask yourself these questions and then come back in and make adjustments as needed. When it comes to the eyes and the mouth, the tiniest little adjustment, just the flick of a brush, a tiny nudge up of the corner of the mouth can make all the difference in the way that the model is looking at you, the feeling that she's portraying. So I feel like I've captured a little bit of mystery here with the way that her gaze is up and to the side, the little turn up of the mouth. I think I've done a good job on the mood of the piece. Another good habit to get into is checking your work in a mirror. So I have a large floor mirror behind me, so as I'm drawing, I don't have to get up and walk away so often. I can just turn and look at the mirror and gaze the drawing from a new perspective. It really does help you see if there's an area that needs to be continued work or needs to be lighter or darker. Just really is good to get fresh eyes on your work. So again, taking some time to step back and just look at the piece, checking proportions, composition elements, contrast, values, transitions, all the things that need to be there to have a good drawing. So I dropped down some loose charcoal in the shadow area. I just felt like it needed a little different texture to kind of delineate itself into the shadow. So I'm coming in now with this feather and I'm literally just tickling some of the areas. It's a very fine touch. I could probably see it more in real life than I'm capturing on the video, but it does make a difference. And the feather, you can use a light touch with it, and I can use a little heavier pressing against the charcoal to get some more fine lines throughout and build some texture into the lower areas of the face. Here I'm just pushing away some charcoal and cleaning up the lightest areas on the forehead and the nose and the cheek. Notice the transition on the light side of the nose into the cheek. There's no line, it just kind of blends right into the cheek. there's that lost edge that I was talking about between features. I'm going to use the feather to pull some of the heavier charcoal across the most bottom portion of the chin. Just seems a little light. That transition's a bit abrupt, and by pulling some charcoal over there, it'll just soften that transition as it moves towards the light. Also, I'm wiping off the feather after each area. So when I was just in the darker area pulling charcoal, I wiped the feather before I went up here to continue cleaning and getting rid of charcoal in that highlight area. And here you have it, the final portrait. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.